Hello, I'm Dennis Nickerson, president of livingenglishinmoncton.com. This is the second in a three-part series that I'm giving on pronunciation tools that I use in helping my English language learners in English conversation groups to learn English more naturally. The first tool that we had talked about in my previous blog was the stress syllables in English and how if you follow 9 general rules, you can take any word in English and usually pronounce it correctly if you follow these 9 rules. There are many exceptions, and so it's always good to consult a dictionary when you are uncertain whether a word follows one of those 9 general rules in syllable stress. The second part of the pronunciation exercises, or the second tool that I'm introducing you to today, is known as the Schwa. The Schwa, spelled S-C-H-W-A. The Schwa, for those of you who do not know or have heard of this term, is the most common sound you'll find in the English language. You see, in English language, what we do is we take our words and put them together in a sentence, and when we speak them, we stress them in connected speech. A lot of times, newcomers will say to me, "Dennis, I need help in my listening skills." And the reason why I need help in my listening skills in English is because English people speak way too fast. Well, generally, that's not the case. It's not that we speak too fast, it is that we leave out sounds so that it sounds like we are speaking fast and you cannot hear some of the words that you thought you should hear in sentences because we do not pronounce them. I know that's a bit confusing to you, but we'll get into some examples in just a minute, just to give you an idea of what I mean, and it will help you to understand why it is that you have a difficult time sometimes understanding or listening to English conversation. So in connected speech, when we say a sentence in English, when we speak, we pronounce certain figures of speech in English. We pronounce nouns, we pronounce main verbs, we pronounce adjectives, and we pronounce adverbs. Those are the sounds that you'll hear stress in connected speech when we are speaking to you as a natural English speaking person. Now, words that we tend to say faster or to a point where you do not hear them at all in a sentence when we are speaking to you are auxiliary verbs, pronouns, articles, and linkers. And sometimes we say those much quicker, or we make no sounds on them at all because we are trying to reduce our words in order to keep the stress pattern of our speaking at a regular pace. That is why you find it so difficult to understand English language when you are listening to it for the first time. So when we say our auxiliary verbs and our pronouns and our articles and our linkers in sentences, when we speak them, we reduce them to keep the stress pattern regular so that these words sound like we're saying them faster and at a lower volume so you do not hear them with the same volume that we would speak our main verbs. So these speaking faster and a lower volume, reducing the stress, is known as the schwa in English. So let's get to some examples to show you what I mean. In the first sentence at the top, I show you how you would normally be taught this sentence in English for the first time. How many brothers and sisters have you got? How many brothers and sisters have you got? The second example that I show on this card is sort of a way that we speak it in English in order to keep the pattern regular. And so obviously you'll see that we leave out certain parts of a word or some words altogether. So instead of me saying to you, how many brothers and sisters have you got? I would say to you, how many brothers and sisters have you got? How many brothers and sisters have you got? How many brothers and sisters have you got? It's not that I'm saying it faster, it's just that I'm leaving out certain parts. This is known as the schwa. So I would say to you again, how many brothers and sisters have you got? Confusing, isn't it? Let's look at the second example. How often do you play tennis? How often do you play tennis? Now, if you hear me speaking this to you or asking you this question, I would say it like this. How often do you play tennis? How often do you play tennis? How often do you play tennis? Listen to me again. How often do you play tennis? How often do you play tennis? A third example. This one here in the top. This is what you would normally be taught. What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? And you would hear me speaking to you in a conversation like this. What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Notice I left out the preposition of altogether. What kind of music do you like? And I run do and you together. What kind of music do you like? So you would normally hear, what kind of music do you like? And I would say, what kind of music do you like? What kind of music do you like? Our fourth example. What time do you usually get up? What time do you usually get up? When you hear me speaking to you, you would hear it like this. What time do you usually get up? 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 So here I run the do and the you together. You see a common pattern there. And I leave out a vowel and shorten usually into two-syllable sounds. What time do you usually get up? Again, this is known as the schwa. Let's look at our final example. How much does it cost? I might be asking you something that you have that I like, maybe your t-shirt, and I say to you, how much does it cost? So normally, that's how you would hear it. You would be taught that is spoken in a sentence. But here is how you would hear me speak the same sentence. How much did it cost? 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 Instead of how much does it cost, how much did it cost? So again, we English-speaking people, naturally speaking English, like to keep our stress patterns regular. We like to speak in what is known as connected speech. So we leave out certain figures of speech in a sentence to communicate with one another. We grow up naturally knowing this. It's not something we are taught. It's the normal way that we speak right from the very beginning. And it's known, this reduced and faster sounding sound is known as the schwa in English. Now, the schwa is affectionately called the Friday afternoon sound. So a Friday afternoon sound for the schwa would be, what do you do on Friday afternoon? You've been in classes all week learning English Monday to Friday. Friday afternoon, the teacher does something a lot more relaxing. So Friday afternoon, you slump in your chair and you're relaxed and you're not concerned about the way you're speaking. And this is normally what we would demonstrate the schwa. This is how the schwa is demonstrated. Usually it's like a Friday afternoon relaxed atmosphere, and we speak to one another, not pronouncing our words carefully, every word in a sentence. So the schwa is an important tool for you to recognize in pronunciation when you are speaking in conversations and trying to speak more naturally in English. And also it's very important to be aware when you are listening that oftentimes it's not that the English people are speaking quickly, it is that they are stressing their words in connected speech in regular pattern by leaving out certain sounds and certain words. So I hope this helps you to understand a little bit better on conversation English and why it can be so difficult and so slow in learning that process. We have talked about stress syllables. We've talked about the schwa. And the third blog that I will be putting together will be on English melody and rhythm. All three of these tools are what I teach my conversation groups very early on so that they will know how to speak and listen for English more naturally. I hope this is a help to you. And if you want to reach out and contact us for any upcoming courses we have, just go on the website and find the contact button and tell us that you're interested in taking a course or knowing more about the courses that we do offer at livingenglishinmoncton.com. Thank you for listening.